My husband's not from the Indian culture, and I'm from the Indian culture. He wanted to raise the kids plant-based, and I did not know how to do that in a healthy way. So I was looking at plant-based nutrition, and I came across Dr. Greger's podcast, and then he mentioned lifestyle medicine, and I was like, "What is that? A sweet is
Oh,
such an important treat to be able to like. We've made it enough where I can share these like, I have enough money to buy these kinds of like treats, and it's a symbol,
mm-hmm.
and recognizing that was a breakthrough for me because I didn't want to ever, I never want people to feel bad. I wasn't trying to make people feel bad. I just felt like, I had gotten to this place where I felt like sugar was like a poison or something.
At that time,
And
you were a
I,
fundamentalist.
so giving unsolicited advice when they're not ready for it will make people almost like repel or rebel against the advice that you're giving them. And
Yes.
if I care about them and I really want them to change, then I wouldn't do that, right? Like I should wait until they're ready to hear from me, and then they'll come to me. They know what I know. Yeah. So there's like a huge barrier to the actual giving care, of that is put on the physician to be able to do all of these things in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, however booked they are in their days. That's why you designed your practice the way you did. That's why I designed my practice the way I did, because I actually see a huge benefit in being able to give people a 2 hour first visit, a 1 hour. Yeah. So, I mean, it's so hard because like we have all this like amazing, wonderful, like tricks now to life that we learn in lifestyle medicine that could like be the secret to like longevity and weight loss and whatever it is that we want to share with people that we love the most.
Hello, lifestyle changers. It's your host, Dr. Adelita. Welcome to my special episode of Sunday Drive. It is special because we have a special guest today, and I'm very grateful she accepted my invitation to speak about her insights and her perspective about healthy lifestyle change and how it impacted her personal and professional life. My guest today is a colleague of mine, a medical doctor, and let me read her bio, short bio here. She is a dual board certified and practices lifestyle medicine in Connecticut. And she completed her graduate studies in MIT, pursued medical school at Yale, and completed her residency in Mount Sinai in New York City. She has received multiple awards for research, for entrepreneurship, for community building. Very, very accomplished colleague of mine. She resides with her husband and two young children, and in Connecticut, and is a founder of a startup lifestyle medicine practice named Lifestyle and Family Medicine. Welcome, Dr. Nupur Garg. I hope I pronounced your last name correctly.
Yes, you did.
I know
That's
you're
perfect.
busy. You are in the clinic right now, and you may be about to see patients today. But I'm
I
really
will. Yeah.
grateful and very appreciative that you're carving out time in your busy schedule to be here with me and
Of
be with our
course.
audience.
Thanks for inviting me. I'm happy to be here.
You're very welcome. So let's start with letting our audience know a little bit about you. Can you tell us a little bit about your background growing up? The most common question we get as doctors, like, how or when did you know you wanted to become a doctor?
Yeah. So, I had a little bit of a unique background. My parents, both came from India, and I was not born there or anything like that, but I was raised in this culture plus that culture. It's like a mix because at home it's a little bit of both. And I was always curious about some of the traditions and cultural, I feel like, things that got passed down over millennia, and why those stayed intact. And I also feel like Eastern culture is very health centric. So there are a lot of aspects in, not just South Asian culture, but East Asian culture, any of them that are just centered around, like the entire culture is centered around some kind of health habit.
Mhm.
Um, and I think coming to the West, you don't necessarily get that entirely. There are a lot of cultural traditions, and I love them, and they're so much fun. But there's not necessarily like a health focus within them. And not to say that everything on the Eastern in the Eastern culture is healthy or anything like that, but you get those things like yoga and meditation. And I was so curious about them. But I'm very analytically minded. You heard like I went to MIT, and so I didn't just ever like adopt those kinds of things. I was not like somebody that just like could say, "Oh, you should be doing yoga just because I heard that this is going to be good for you," like my culture, whatever it is. And then when lifestyle medicine kind of came out, and it was like a whole curriculum that was designed to just give you all of the evidence behind all of these kinds of like age old traditions that now you have like some kind of like more both foundational understanding about what you're actually prescribing, because sometimes the cultural twist is a little bit different than what the actual evidence base, like science is for. Um, and um, and also just some more sort of like confidence to actually discuss this with patients, to say, no, this will help you because there's evidence that it says it will help you. And I was all for it. I've always felt like the medical school education I got, which was not at like a no-name institution by any means, was kind of lacking in some of these kind of like foundational ideas about health. And I'm not going to say that there's any sinister aspects to that. I'm just going to say that the studies that got found, that get funded to actually get, like that where we base our evidence off of, are usually things that other people will make money off of later, right? And so what they like to say in lifestyle medicine is that there's not any money in big broccoli versus like,
Did you know all
big
about
salad.
this? Did you? I'm just curious. Did you know about all about this before you entered medical school, or in your journey towards?
I learned about lifestyle medicine for the very first time, which I feel like is very late for somebody who already had an inclination towards these topics. But for the very first time, when my son was starting to eat solids, and my husband's not from the Indian culture, and I'm from the Indian culture. He wanted to raise the kids plant-based, and I did not know how to do that in a healthy way. So I was looking at plant-based nutrition, and I came across Dr. Greger's podcast, and then he mentioned lifestyle medicine, and I was like, what is that? And I did this whole like rabbit hole, like Google search about it. I went and met with the only other lifestyle medicine practice in Connecticut, and I said, hey, like, what is this? Is this true? Like, you treat patients? And it's like, yeah. And then they encouraged me to get certified. I did it. I wrote a book in it. I opened up a practice in it. I teach a class to other physicians in certification. And I have a startup, a tech platform to help physicians with their lifestyle medicine practices. So I'm like 100% in it to win it, but I learned about it relatively late. I think I was like part of the fourth or fifth certification class for the
Oh,
boards.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
But the first few were like, I mean, it's been growing exponentially every year. The first few were not that much, but still, it was like, I think that my class, it was like over 3,000 diplomats
mm.
in the year that I took it. So I learned about it relatively late. I did not know about it until I
Well,
went to look for the information just for my own life, for my own
yeah,
kid,
yeah.
you know?
I wonder if um and this is what I kind of refute every time I hear from my patients or relatives, from where I come from. I'm from the Philippines, but she's and this got stuck in my head. They say as doctors, some people think that we know too well to stay too well, to stay well and not be
Okay.
sick. But
Okay.
I figured nobody is excluded in this, is immune to chronic disease. Do you
Yeah.
have personal struggle, health struggle, or issues that you have to deal with in the past before you came to know about lifestyle medicine?
Yeah, I think there's like they say in lifestyle medicine as well, we're all sort of like dealt with a deck of cards when we're born, right? Like we can't really change some of those, whether it's like tendencies, whether we have tendencies towards addictions or and it's not just like, drug addictions, there's sugar addiction, there's oil addiction, like I had a sugar addiction personally, and that was a very difficult thing. I like it was so clear that it was an addiction in some of the most like just craziest ways, because I never really felt like I was drawn towards any other in recreational kind of indulgence kind of,
Uh,
like addiction kind of things, whether it was like alcohol or whatever it is. But with sugar, it was like I could not just have one. Like I would have withdrawal headaches every time I quit. So clearly there was like pathways going to my brain saying that you get this dopamine surge every single time that you have it. When I relapsed, it would be like a truly relapse where it was like, okay, now I'm just eating sugar every day now. It wasn't just like I relapsed and it was like I could quit it just immediately
mhm,
after that. So it was a lot of the same kind of like addiction criteria. And there's also food addictions. It doesn't have to be sugar that people, when somebody says that they have a sweet tooth, that's just kind of like what they're talking about, I think.
mhm,
But you could have a salt tooth, you could have like any kind of
mhm.
tooth. But I think
How
the
did
sugar
you
addiction
deal
was
with it?
so strong.
How did
So
you?
I did seven. It was so hard to quit it. I made seven different quit attempts, whether it was New Year's, whether it was my birthday, whether it was like a holiday, whatever it was. And every single time it'd be like no sugar. But then you'd find out that there's like this hidden sugar in everything that you weren't gonna keep eating. And then you have to quit that, and then you have to make another attempt. And it's like it gets harder and harder. And then the very last time my go-to cheat food was a chocolate chip because it's like so tiny. And
Mhm,
then I would eat one chocolate chip, then I eat five chocolate chips, then I eat 10 chips, then the whole bag would be gone. So like instead I would do my husband the very last time, and I didn't know this was going to work because we had other times where we would try this and then we'll try that. I'll try teas, I'll try whatever. Um, it was a stevia chocolate chip that he bought. And he removed all the other sugar, right? Because I had two little kids, so that was a big deal. Because it's like, there's sugar everywhere. But my husband could not deal with me quitting again. Like, I get cranky. I was like, so he was like, we're going to support you. And he's just like, so he actually went and found these like highly rated stevia chocolate chips. And I went through the first bag in the first month. I cannot tell you. Like, I was like, just, it was so helpful to have sort of like almost like a nicotine patch kind of thing. And then the next month, the second bag, it took me like 10 months to go through. Because
oh,
once you lose the addiction, you don't have to have the thing anymore.
mhm,
I didn't really want the thing. It didn't give me a high because it
mhm,
was like stevia, so I didn't have a desire for it anymore. And like the addiction kind of calmed down a lot. But I worked in the emergency department as well. There's sugar everywhere. People bring in stuff, and it's like it was just so hard,
mhm,
to not be away from sugar.
mhm,
And so to have something there that kind of like helped me get over that was so helpful.
mhm,
That I could have instead of the sugar thing, I could just have a few chocolate chips of the stevia thing that didn't give me the high,
mhm.
and it still tasted
And
sweet in my mouth.
and did it
Yeah,
not also give you like the escalation, pathway that most people fall into when they
yeah,
relapse? I
yes, yes, and that's a hard thing to. It's I'm so empathetic. Having gone through this journey, even though it wasn't like a drug or whatever, it gave me so much more perspective. Um, well, sugar is kind of a drug, but like because it does the same thing in your brain that cocaine does to like some people. But I have such a different perspective on people with addictions. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. It's so tough. It's so tough. But I also have a lot of empathy for my patients that are just trying to quit whatever food that they're having to quit. I have a patient that told me about this program called Overeaters Anonymous, which is kind of like any kind of other anonymous, alcohol anonymous,
Mhm,
tobacco anonymous, like narcotic. And so it's literally designed just like that, like an addiction that you have to quit. And there's other mental health things that you have to go through in
mhm,
order to get yourself in a place where you are ready to quit, that you're doing it for yourself because you care about yourself, right? Like, and you want to be healthier because you care about yourself. Sometimes you have to work through some things
mhm,
before you get to that point yourself. And so it was a 2-year process for me, and I didn't even know the last time it was going to work. That first year after it worked, I was very strict about sugar. Now, if it's like in like a sauce that I don't know, like sometimes you got to eat, you get like a noodle sauce, like spaghetti or whatever. Sometimes they put sugar in it. I'm not that strict about it anymore. I'll have it because I don't have the cravings. Now there's like sugar everywhere, brownies everywhere at home, and I don't care. It's
uh,
like fuck, and like I'll deal with it. I have sugar 5 times a year, and I almost can't even eat a whole cupcake. On my kids' birthdays, I have it. On my husband's birthday, on my birthday, and Thanksgiving. And I'll have it just, I don't do Christmas because there's sugar at every single Christmas event, right? So like it's too many. So I do Thanksgiving, which is like a 1 day. Um,
And at
and
least
that's
I
just what
think
I
this
chose for my
time,
life.
it sounds like this time, yes, you are
Yeah,
still consuming a little bit of sugar, but you're
right.
more aware, right? More
Hmm.
conscious that you are about to. And
It's
because of,
purposeful, it's planned,
mm-hmm,
and it's not like, oh, it's still cupcakes left over from the birthday. I'll have it the next day too. It's like, no, it's like, it's very deliberate
conscious.
and I enjoy it. I enjoy it. I don't feel guilty about it. I plan it, I purpose, so that's kind of how I've designed it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not like a very big fundamentalist. There's some people in lifestyle medicine, and you might know this, like for example, well, I won't say anyone else, but like they're like, you cannot have any drop of oil, like you cannot have any. And I've never been like that. Like I don't believe in that
Mm-hmm.
personally. Because I mean, I have 90-year-old patients that never heard about lifestyle medicine, and they're just, they're doing what they're doing. Like something's working. So I don't. I'm just giving people the best advice that I can within the realm of what I think is
Mm-hmm.
enough.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I track numbers and I'm very metric based. So I've never been a fundamentalist about it and I don't criminalize it with people. So I guess I just wanted to say like I wanted to build a space for sugar in my life where I didn't also have this feeling of addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Um because it is a celebratory food.
Yeah.
Like it's there as
Yeah.
celebrations. And I
And
wanted to be there.
and then I
But
read the part of that book in How
yeah,
Healers Heal, which I really enjoyed reading
right, yeah.
your chapter. By the way, for our audience, I'm not sure if you can see this, guys, but we will post that. This is a book, How Healers Heal, by a collection of deep personal stories from 33 board certified lifestyle medicine doctors, sharing in this book their story, their personal struggles with their health, physical and mental health. And it's really cool in your chapter, Dr. Guard, you mentioned this line, and I'm just gonna, you said one thing, okay, you said, um, you gave up on giving unsolicited advice about healthy eating after you made my father feel like a terrible husband for wanting to share a tasty sweet dish with my mother on a family vacation. Can you tell me
Yes.
more about that? And I think that kind of like a breakthrough, in how we shift our mindset to how much we need, how much we can influence people around us.
Yeah, so I mean, it's so hard because like we have all this like amazing, wonderful like tricks now to life that we learn in lifestyle medicine that could like be the secret to like longevity and weight loss and whatever it is that we want to share with people that we love the most, right? Because it's like these are the people that I care about the most, and I want them to have all of this in their mind so that they can live the longest and be there and just be healthy, be happy. And I've just realized, you know, and again, I've never been a fundamentalist, but at that particular family vacation, and I come from a town in India that's known for their sweets. So like my parents do actually. They were both born in this town called Meerut in India. That's like there's songs written about the sweets that come from Meerut. Like everybody knows about these sweets from Meerut. So it's a problem, and everybody got together. It was like a cousins gathering, a family gathering, and everybody was enjoying different sweets. And it was just like my dad was literally like lovingly hand feeding his wife like a little piece, and I was like, "What are you doing?" It was like this, like, and especially coming from scarcity where they came from, where a sweet is
Ah.
such an important treat to be able to like we've made it enough where I can share these like I have enough money to buy these kinds of like treats, and it's a symbol.
Mm-hmm.
And recognizing that was a breakthrough for me because I didn't want to ever I never want people to feel bad. I wasn't trying to make people feel bad. I just felt like, I had gotten to this place where I felt like sugar was like a poison or something.
At that time,
And
you were a
I,
fundamentalist.
yeah, and then I was like, this is not healthy for even me. And then I just like came out of that, right? Like, and I sort of like went to a different place, which is better for everyone that I did that. But now I wait for people to be ready for it. And that's when it's going to make the most impact, right? So, like, I recognize that as well. So, giving unsolicited advice when they're not ready for it will make people almost like repel or rebel against the advice that you're giving them. And
Yes.
if I care about them and I really want them to change, then I wouldn't do that, right? Like, I should wait until they're ready to hear from me. And then they'll come to me. They know what I know.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll come to me. And so I think that's, at least when it comes to family is like the hardest thing to change,
I
and
do believe in that.
yeah, it's so hard.
I think I came to
There's a
that.
trickle down effect. There's a trickle down effect by just being a example that you want to set. So there is that. I've realized my husband's healthier because I'm healthier. It didn't
Mm-hmm.
happen right away,
Mm-hmm.
but I care about him and I care about his health and my kids. I care about them. And there's a trickle down effect because you're eating something they want to snack. Like it does work that way too.
And I
So
think also, action speaks louder than words. And I remind
yes,
myself
for
of
sure.
that. You can never push somebody to, do something out of your belief when they themselves don't believe in it yet. So they have their own
Yeah.
time, right? And you and I, I'm not sure if we have on the same in the same page. We all go through that stages. Me first, my
Right.
family, and then I'm gonna start extending my passion and my purpose in life
Right.
to my relatives and friends, and then there are some disappointments and frustrations that I encountered and that kind of bit me up, but I still got up and say, okay, there's so much people to influence,
Right.
and just get out there and talk, and those people who are in your zone or want to enter in your zone have big
Right.
ears and they can hear you and they come to you, right? And then they start asking you questions and they're ready to digest all those information and make decisions for themselves.
Yes.
How do you
And
think?
that's the really nice thing about what we've chosen, both you and I, because people self-select to come to your practice. So it's really nice. But I do take advantage of the trigger moments that happen to people in the emergency department. So I consider that sometimes the worst moments for some people. And I do like try to encourage people to think about these kinds of things sometimes. And I've had a lot of success with that, where
Mm,
patients are like, "Oh, I didn't know. Like, I'm gonna never eat out Chinese anymore." You know what I mean? Like, and I
mm-hmm.
feel bad for the restaurant, but at the same time, it's really not great if you've had strokes like every time you eat the food. So,
Yeah, because you
so
are you are an ED physician, right? Before you
yes,
started your direct primary
right.
care
Lifestyle medicine, yeah,
practice. Yes, yes, definitely. You've seen the kind of the tail end of
right.
people's journey, and that's a teachable moment. And
Yes.
yeah, yeah. Dr.
Sometimes
Garg.
not, and I try to recognize that too, and I don't try to involve, but I have literally stayed over 45 minutes after a shift just to educate patients on what they're doing in their lifestyle that could be affecting their kidneys when they're like, I'll eat anything you tell me to eat. Just like no one's giving them the advice, like
Yeah,
they're looking for it and no one's giving it. It's so
that's so
sad.
true. It's so true.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Garg, we've been talking about lifestyle medicine. For those who don't know what this is, can you explain what lifestyle medicine is and how does that differ with the from traditional
Sure.
medical approach in promoting health and preventing chronic disease?
Yeah, of course. So, I would like it to be the traditional medical approach in the future,
Me
but
too.
for now, the way it differs, I'm sorry, my daughter gave me a cold, is that basically lifestyle medicine is the evidence-based therapeutic approach to lifestyle changes, prioritizing lifestyle changes, I should say, instead of prioritizing pharmaceuticals and surgeries for chronic conditions or any conditions that you might have. Obviously, you cannot avoid pharmaceuticals and surgeries, and we're not saying that you should um, not have them at all, but we want to reduce them because every single thing, whether it's, every single type of medication will have side effects, it has other effects, it has to pass through your kidneys or your livers, it has to get metabolized, and all of that can be a little taxing. However, full believer in science, love that we have the pills available, love that we have those surgeries available. Like I'm not trying to negate that, but as much as we can use our own power of healing, our own lifestyle changes to prevent, but also treat and also even reverse some chronic diseases, then I feel like if I feel like we should. And this isn't for everybody. Some people are like, you know what, just give me the pill. I want to live how I want to live, and I just want to take a pill for if I can, and I want to die on my own terms, and that's totally okay. I am not, criticizing or anything, but there are a lot of other people that don't trust the medical system anymore. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because all we have to offer them is pharmaceuticals.
True.
And that's not good enough anymore. Like
Mm-hmm.
we've noticed people have realized from their own life experiences that hey, like doing this made me feel worse, doing this made me feel better. Why didn't my doctor tell me that? Why are they always just trying to push a pill?
Mm-hmm.
Like why am I hearing about this from people outside of the medical community even?
Mm-hmm.
And nothing against those people. Everybody has their own roles. They have their own training. They have their own knowledge base. But it really does build an unfortunate level of distrust. And I think um, it's appropriate distrust because if somebody is saying that there's like no alternatives to treating your high blood pressure except for taking this medication, then that's not fair,
It's not
right?
fair.
Like
Yes.
give them a chance,
Mm-hmm.
like give them a chance. And once you tell them what they might have to do, they might choose the pill. That's totally fine. But at least now they're a little bit more educated about what they're doing that could be causing their condition in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you have to plant the seed and let it grow on their own. And then they might come back a year later and be like, okay, I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready I don't like the way this pill makes me feel or whatever it is. And they'll work harder.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like on the physician side in traditional practice, there's a lot of this like mentality that like no one's going to change. Like I'll tell them all day until I turn blue and no one's going to change. And there is an art in lifestyle medicine to health behavior change. One of those concepts was that trigger moment that you and I talked about just now. But there's other things, and it depends on what you're trying to ask them to do. Honestly, my mentality when it comes to asking patients to change is really I don't ask them to change. All I do is I ask them what their goals are and I explain how what they're doing in their lifestyle may be working towards or against that goal. And then I explain whether or not, especially if they have any chronic diseases, and especially if they want to avoid pharmacy, whatever their goals
Mm-hmm.
are, longevity or whatever it is. I just view myself as sort of like a consultant that can help give them guidance in those choices so they can then make an educated decision on, what, like ice cream is worth it. I'll take diabetes any day over, like that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
but you have to know,
At least they
you can't
know.
just like not know.
Uh-huh.
And I respect those decisions. Like, but I don't respect it, somebody not giving a patient the choice.
Correct.
Like that's
Correct.
the thing.
Part of
So I,
my
I feel like lifestyle medicine is just about that choice. And I still treat people, I still manage diabetes with meds. I don't, I care about them just as much.
Mhm.
I don't look down on them, but at least they know, like at least they
Yeah,
know.
yeah. When I discovered about lifestyle medicine, because I got diabetic, right, and I don't want to take medicine. I
Mm.
was overweight, got
Mm.
stomach issues, bloating since in
Oh my
medical
God.
school, and I thought it was just attributing that to stress, and and I became
Yeah.
a primary care. Me and my husband, and we both got diabetic. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're still 37 years old, and we're looking at our kids like we must have been doing something wrong here. And he
Ah.
got gout, fatty liver, cholesterol 200s, triglycerides almost 300s. Like, what's going on? We got scared. It's so much scared when you know that you don't know something,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
like I'm like, we're still young. I mean,
Yeah.
and we're not just ready to take meds, and we know the drill,
Right.
right? Starting with 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then the next thing you wake up, you're on 10 pills, right?
Exactly.
So
You're on pills for the pills
for the
because
pill,
the pill caused some problem, and then you're on pills for those pills. So it's so true.
it's so true. And
Yeah.
when I learned about lifestyle medicine, it gave me so much hope. And I felt, you can relate to this, right? You feel this great guilt, like,
Yes.
okay, I'm making myself better, and my patients, do they know about this stuff?
Yes.
If I didn't know that I'm in the
Yes.
medical field, how much them? So part of my awakening is like, I felt there was a point in my life where I felt so bad about myself,
Right.
I told my husband, like, you know what, I I feel like I'm no different from a drug pusher. I'm just
Yeah.
a licensed drug pusher. I
Yeah.
mean, like, is this me? Is this my identity? Suddenly, I begun to question my identity. Like, oh my gosh, this is not
Yeah.
me. And I think that you're right about, that's all what we're doing is telling people that really, when we look at the guidelines of how to treat hypertension and diabetes and even preventing cancer, and I look back on my notes, these
Yep.
pocket books that we carry on
Yeah.
our rotation, and there's
Yeah.
that, from diagnosis, the schematic diagram, there's a lifestyle modification. If it
Yeah.
doesn't, help so much the patient controlling blood sugar, then you have the drug of choice, right?
Yeah.
But the lifestyle modification flag is up there. And only then I saw that with my clear eyes, like, oh my gosh, who's dealing with this lifestyle modification? Am I supposed to be dealing this or not? Because that's what I'm doing. And that's what we are
Yeah.
offering, right? In lifestyle medicine.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't even know. Like, I've I've talked to so many people now, and I've changed so many minds. People come in here. I don't care what you say. I am never going to stop eating meat. And the first thing I say, I am not going to ask you to stop eating meat. Eating meat. I don't even know if physicians are trained in lifestyle modification, behavior change. Like I
I don't
feel
remember
like
that, Dr. Garg,
yeah,
in my
and we have to
training.
be. We have to be because how else are you going to? You can't just spout studies at people. We know that doesn't work. And it's like it's not manipulation, but it's respect, right? Like, and I don't think that the paternalism. You asked me about the current medical system. The paternalism of the current medical healthcare system doesn't allow us to approach a respectful conversation with the patient to ask them about lifestyle choices that they're making and in a non-judgmental way, and then also educate them in a non-judgmental way where
Mhm.
it's like, oh, everybody knows that soup has all this salt. Well, no, like you can actually make soup without all that salt. And then secondly, this happens to my patients where they go somewhere and blamed. They're blamed when it's like you like I like let's everybody has gaps in every knowledge. Even we had gaps, right? We
Mhm.
didn't even know this
We
stuff.
didn't know this,
So
and
and
I'm
we're
not. I
physicians.
tell patients, like, I'm not ashamed to admit to you that I was so clueless then.
Yep.
I was just going through the curriculum, and
Yep.
we're not tested. It's
We're
not a
not.
board test question.
Right.
What you're going to tell the patient if he doesn't like medicine. I mean, it's not so,
Yep.
without judgment, to our colleagues too, we are
Right.
just as, I think, I don't want to call it victims, but in
Yep.
some ways we are, and we are accepting that. Me, I have to accept that.
Yep.
I felt like 8 years, 9, 10 years of my life, I felt like I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
And I have to start from scratch, but not really. I just have to, get back that foundation to solidify the structure that I have created, that medicine has created
Right.
for us. And telling people about this, because this is scientific and evidence
Right.
based, right? That's the thing with lifestyle medicine, because it's
Yeah.
always been asked. I don't know if you're gonna be asked to, like, how, is this like naturopathic medicine, or
Yep.
like,
Yep.
and I really didn't honestly know at that time how to separate lifestyle medicine that make people understand much easier.
Yeah. It's interesting because also the evidence has been there, but we haven't been like you. It's they lifestyle medicine. The American Board of Lifestyle Medicine did something really smart with making sure that there was like a different sort of like category for physicians who are MDs and DOs. We have a very strong foundational knowledge base about the physiology of the human body,
Correct.
and especially to be able to expand on that with, let's say that we're research scientists, and we want to do more lifestyle medicine studies. And with that foundational knowledge, is you have to have that so that you can make hypotheses and that you can test them. And it's one of those things that I think that was like that's like the reason why this will succeed, and the reason why it's taken seriously. Um, but yeah, I think it's gonna become. I mean, I'm like 100%, and like I've drinking all the Kool-Aid, like the sugar-free Kool-Aid, and I just like I'm like 100% bought into this. And I've professionally, like you had mentioned earlier, I've like organized my entire life to be like ready for the launch of this to be more mainstream. Like I said, I wrote that book, I teach that class, but I also with my startup, what I'm trying to do is enable people who aren't even trained in lifestyle medicine to be able to practice with um, the same action plan items that we offer to our patients by giving them sort of like an automated prioritized list based on patients' screening tools that they fill out asynchronously, based on their problem lists, based on their health goals, based on their labs, and it will just like give you a prioritized diet and nutrition recommendation, prioritized physical, like whatever it is. And so that kind of thing will also help kind of like enable more people to practice these guidelines, whether or not they do get trained in it. Like you said, it's entirely evidence based, and I think like also along those lines, I'm really like hoping that the patients themselves will try to drive this movement um, to the point where like they're demanding like that they be told
Mm-hmm.
about what they can be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So any patients out there who are listening, please feel like you do have that right because that is on our guidelines
Mm-hmm.
for almost every single condition. It's first give lifestyle changes. Well, first of all, they have to be specific. They can't just be like eat healthy, which happens so much. Like eat healthy, and it's like, well, what does that mean? Like, and so you have to kind of
And
like
then
they have
patients
to be
end up
specific.
having to consult the internet, right? How to eat
Exactly, and they're
healthy,
on their own,
a lot
and
of
it's
things
so
come up.
much evidence based stuff. Second of all, they have to be comprehensive. They have to be therapeutic. There's a lot of things in it that are like that we've learned in our curriculum. So therapeutic just means like if I tell you to eat healthy, is it going to be enough? Is it going to be enough of a recommendation, or does a recommendation have to be a little bit stronger for me versus like my wife or whatever it is to get to that same point? So we as physicians can help you with that, but you should also be demanding that from whoever it is that you are seeing, because you have that right to be treated with this evidence-based care. And like I'm also creating what's called a lifestyle medicine mapper. So I don't know, I think you put your information there, but it's like so any patient can find people anywhere in the entire country that have been lifestyle medicine trained.
Mhm.
And it's going to be on a map so you could like navigate it. It's going to be on my website. So there's a lot of resources I'm just going to try to put out there for patients to enable them, especially the ones that are looking. But even if you're not looking, you should be told. You have a right to be told what it's unethical to. And there's like actually a paper that came out by the Yale cardiology team, and it says like it's unethical to not give your patients like a recommendation for a whole food plant-based diet when they have certain recommendations, right? It's like it's
I
unethical that
think
you're
that's a
not showing.
malpractice, right?
Yeah, it's like it's getting to that point, and
Should
I want
not.
it to be that point. So I think this will be really cool to see how, and then obviously like if you share that information, the patient can decide what to do with it. But you have to share it, like you can't just withhold it. Like it's like
Mm-hmm.
withholding a treatment.
Mm-hmm.
It's withholding a potential treatment. It's
Yeah.
not fair. So I think it's going to be good. I think this is going to come out to be a very strong. So you are going to be ahead of it with your initiatives too. Everybody who's in it right now, but
Or we
hopefully
are
it'll
all
be.
the way that, and when
Yeah.
I'm very active in the community level, and
Yeah,
as much
yeah,
as I can preach, and there's so many, you'll be surprised at the many questions that people ask you, and there's just a great disconnect. Like for example,
yeah.
like how come do you don't accept insurance, right? Or
Mhm.
yeah, I've paying so much of this and I really want to go with you, but you don't accept insurance, and that's a very big uh, hurdle. It kind of put at the middle of doctor and patient,
Yeah,
and I tell them like it's not that we don't accept insurance, but
right.
insurance are not accepting of us, of our approach yet, and part of it, the big question is the time they want us to spend with you. Do you just want us to be spending 15-20 minutes with you, on first
Yeah.
visit, when that's not enough if we do lifestyle, as if you want lifestyle to be a treatment. um,
So there's a huge, yeah. So there's like a huge barrier to the actual giving care of that is put on the physician to be able to do all of these things in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, however booked they are in their days. That's why you designed your practice the way you did. That's why I designed my practice the way I did, because I actually see a huge benefit in being able to give people a 2 hour first
Mm-hmm.
visit, a 1 hour next visit, like 1 hour physicals where I do a full assessment, exercise assessment, strength assessment, everything. And so I think like for us, we've had to come away from the typical model. However, there are ways that you can access lifestyle medicine care with insurance, and including getting those longer appointments. There are shared medical appointments.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't want to do that, there are certain facilities, certain institutions, I should say, that will offer lifestyle medicine clinics that you have longer appointments. I know that one has 30-minute appointments, which I know doesn't sound like a long time to both you and me, but it does. It is a long time compared to what they would otherwise get.
Yeah.
And so I think like it depends on where you are. We're gonna hopefully have, like I said, all that information on a mapper, so you could try to find those places and find those people. But I think ultimately, well, the other thing that Medicare did is that they made the billing codes time based now, so they
Mm.
are incentivizing you to spend more time with patients. So that was a new thing that just came out in the last year. It was a huge, this lifestyle medicine was a huge hurdle, because I think you got certified before me. So you
Yes,
designed your
yes.
whole practice before me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you were one of the
What is
first
the
class.
for yeah, yes, that's right. What is the maximum time that Medicare?
You can add on 15-minute increments even after those 60 minutes that they give you. So I do that regularly. So I do take insurance. I have what's called a hybrid practice. I have my uninsured and underinsured patients. They do a subscription. It's $100 a month. But then my insurance patients, they do a subscription of $25 a month. And then I charge their insurance, whatever it is, like whatever service I
Mm,
provide. $25 lets me take only 300 patients in my practice, because I give them my cell phone number. This is the direct primary care
the
model
direct
part of
primary care
it.
model. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the other. I do two things different. I do the lifestyle medicine side, the direct primary care side. So those are the two different things that I do. It's confusing to explain to like everybody.
But for our audience,
Yeah.
at least they know that as far as primary care, because that's their first go-to.
Mm.
And if they're interested about lifestyle medicine model to be integrated in their primary care, so far what we have been seeing more success, I guess, or
Mm.
more fulfillment feeling from doctor and patient, uh, both parties, is a direct primary care model,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah. So there are over 5,000 direct primary care clinics in the country. Not all of them are integrated with lifestyle medicine by any means, but the model of direct primary care incentivizes healthcare over sick care. So in
mm,
the current incentive model, the physician only gets paid if you first of all do a face to face of some sort of a visit, and they get paid for if you come in. So they
mm-hmm,
won't do refills, for example, unless you come in. They won't do
yeah.
whatever they could potentially manage over the phone, they won't do. In the direct primary care model, we don't require any of that. So I like literally I got texted 3 or 4 times today for different patients asking for refills, and that's totally fine with me.
Mm-hmm.
If it's been, I ask them to do their annual physicals, and if I ask them to come in more regularly for whatever issue, they will. But it's so much better, because the superfluousness of the requirements of what the insurance companies mandate does not need to be a part of the healthcare that physicians provide. But unfortunately, physicians won't get paid otherwise, and it's not fair for them to not get paid for the care that they're providing. So with the subscription model, I'm incentivized to provide a VIP level service to all of my patients. Otherwise, they'll quit my care.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm also incentivized to keep you as healthy as possible, so that I do less work and I still get the payment. So I love that incentive. Do you love that incentive? You know what I mean? Like, if you want to be healthy, then that's great. If you're a relatively healthy person, you take care of yourself, and you only want to pay for the exact thing that you're getting service for, then this is not necessarily the model for you. But if you are looking for like that connection with a physician, that you are like, you have actual time with them, 100% of my visits can be in person too. It's just like, if it works for you, that's fine. I have patients that won't ever text me; they prefer to come in person.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a blind patient that like stays at home. She's 96 years old, and I never want her to have to come in. Like this is, she comes in annually. She comes in if she has any abdominal pain ailments, but like, a thyroid refill, thyroid pressure refill, she doesn't have to come in. So
Mm.
it's stuff like that that people appreciate, and then that direct access to me to be able to call me on the phone and ask me if something is,
I
like
I think
an
that
issue.
we underestimate people's longing for connection,
Yeah, I
and
don't have
if
any
it's
staff. It's literally just me. So all my patients call me directly,
mm,
and that connection is important to them.
isn't that kind of a
It's
traditional like back? Are your parents are doctors too, right?
Yeah. So my parents are doctors. They were on TV for their healthcare system that they started. They were on a show called Angels in Our Midst for having, back then it was a $35 office visit to help the uninsured and underinsured. So that was a hard thing to pull off because I don't know if people know this, but you're not allowed to give just random discounts to people. Like, if you take any insurance, then you have to charge every single person the amount that you're charging the insurance company. And sometimes those prices are overinflated because you want to try to, the way insurance pays is that they will cap out at some amount, and it's a percentage of what you're actually charging. And so to hit that cap, which is like, you know, sometimes you have to overcharge, and you would never charge that much from like a person who didn't have insurance, but because of that rule, they had to create a separate entity. My mom had to get out of Medicare, opt out. They just to be able to take care of people who were uninsured and underinsured in their community. And there's a lot of people like that are just like flying under the radar, and they definitely don't get primary care. They might get care at like an emergency department or urgent
Mm-hmm.
care, but they definitely don't get primary care unless there's systems like this. This is before direct primary care was launched, so I learned about direct primary care after I learned about lifestyle medicine, and I was like, I love that concept.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's different than, by the way, it's concierge. Concierge is like $275 a month plus insurance, whereas I'm $25 a month. It's like order of magnitude different.
Oh, thanks
Yeah,
for clearing
so
that
it's
up,
very
because
different. Yeah. I just wanted to clarify because I don't like that concept. I take care of like retired school teachers, retired bus drivers. I take care of like, I love my patient population. It's just like regular people
mm-hmm.
that are just like looking out for their own health. I don't want to be just taking care of like elite people. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Whatever
Mm-hmm.
that means.
Yes, yes, yes.
Financially elite
And,
people. Yeah.
and that helps us too with more our
Yeah.
mental health as as
Right.
healthcare providers, right? We didn't go to
Right.
medical school
Yeah.
just to be to
Yeah.
earn a lucrative profession, but a lot of us as actually started with a child dreaming of
Yeah.
dreaming of having to be able to help people who are in need
Yeah.
in their health. And I think that a lot of physicians are burning out because of that. I kind of
100%.
snap out of that system, and I thought I'm gonna uh, we can do better. We can do better without the handcuffs and and the prison of somebody telling us what to do, especially now that we know what's the right thing to do. It might be you're wrong for other people's eyes, but we have the science, the evidence to back up and promote lifestyle modification to be the first drug of choice in any chronic
Yeah.
disease. Chronic disease is any disease that lasts for a year or more, that affects function and requires medical, treatment or intervention surgeries, things like that. And now we know that's exciting, right? Because we know we can potentially
It's so
reverse
cool.
this chronic disease. And I stopped shaking my head since I learned about lifestyle medicine, because I know people that comes to our practice are the ones that have seen the light, kind of a
Hmm.
glimpse of like just like us, and just want some uh, embodiment of that future they want to they see themselves, and
Hmm.
a guide kind of, right? And that's what's unique with lifestyle medicine, because then we are
Yeah.
not this doctors that are put up in the pedestal and become a paternalistic, and you know uh, we are are stepping down to the level of to the level where patients can meet us midway. They can understand our language of explaining the disease, the language of the treatment we're trying to offer, that requires a lot of proactiveness on their part. And the way
Yeah,
and the way I tell my patients, Dr. Garg, is like, hey, you're coming to me, and because you want to, because you want, the goal is to make a blockbuster movie, right? And guess what? You're the actor. And I know
yeah.
in my power, in my ability, in my knowledge, I can make you, win some Oscar for this movie we're making. But no matter how good of a director I am, ultimately it boils down to you, right? You're gonna act. You're gonna carry on the task.
That is such a good analogy.
Yeah, use that to our
Wow.
patients. I mean, and then that simplifies the language, right? And it
Yeah.
sets expectations. And I said, I have the tools, I have the strategies, but I'm not the actor here. I'm just the director.
Yeah.
But you can trust that I'll be with you every step of the way,
Right, right, right.
because we
I
have
love
we have
that.
one goal. We have the goal is to make a blockbuster movie, right? You
Yeah.
are the actor in that movie. It's creating a new you, a healthier you, a happier you, whatever that looks like to
Right, right.
you. I'm the director. I have the team, right? But
Yes.
you, if you decide to be, kind of lazy or complacent about we're not going to get the blockbuster movie. So I
Right.
that kind of sets the stone of an expectation. I think that's why we're getting a lot of success, and
Yes.
really, and people can at least gauge themselves if they're ready or not. Um,
Yes.
but it's not like any, like, voodoo intervention. No, at all. And I tell patients, because they were like, what's lifestyle medicine? I said, the
Yeah.
diagnosis, the way we diagnose disease is still the same,
Right.
right? We still have the medical, that still holds true. Um, what we kind of branch out in is the treatment. Instead of me telling you to start medicine right away, I'm going to ask you your goal, right? What's your goal?
Yeah.
And if you say, you know what, I really, and what's your belief? If you
Right.
believe that you can take back control of your health, because definitely you are a derailed train, but we know that you can get back on track. If you believe that, then I'm with you, and this is what
Hmm.
we're going to offer. And we have the science, the evidence, and to relieve the doubt. And
Yeah.
that's the beauty of it. So, Dr. Garg,
Yeah.
um, what are your final words to our audience who are watching us right now? Um,
Oh, yeah. So I would say it's never too late. That, the one of the founders of Lifestyle Medicine, Dr. Greger, he actually, his grandmother was given 6 months to live with a congestive heart failure condition. And she went to an intensive lifestyle treatment therapeutic change program, which is 30 years ago. It was somewhere in California, and ended up living 30 more years.
oh,
So it's never too late. And we are here. We are here to help. We are here to cheer you on every single success, every single setback. We are here for you. No judgment zone, and we are trained in all of that. So if anybody is out there and wondering how they can access this, I really encourage you to look for something like that. You know, I would also say, like, what you just said about like the evidence-based stuff. Some people are like, especially other physicians, they might think like, oh, now they're gonna like, my patients are always asking me, oh, is there a special diet for preventing autism and all that? There's nothing like that in evidence-based lifestyle medicine. It's not like that. We're not just like you said, hand wavy, just like, oh, like eat this, you'll be like, your kids will be smart or something like that. It's nothing like that. It's all very legitimate. And even if somebody else went through all the science, they would see that. So just I would keep to physicians out there, my physician colleagues, keep an open mind, and help out your patients however they are looking for it. If they are looking for the pill, that's one thing. If they're looking for some advice, please be open to that as well.
mhm.
So that would be my only parting advice.
Yeah, and there's always hope, for those people who are
Always hope. Yep.
seeking for hope. Now we are
Yep.
fortunate that we are in the world that we have options, and
Yep.
and those options include alternatives that are in line with your goal, in line with
Right.
how you see yourself want to be taken care of.
Right.
And And also in for us for lifestyle medicine, there are directories that they can search uh, for doctors that are certified in lifestyle medicine. They can go to the PCRM. They have a directory, the Physician Committee for
I
Responsible
did see that.
Medicine.
Yeah. There are directories, yes.
And then there's a plantrician. It used to be plant-based-docs.org. I think it's plantrician.org or something. We'll post that
So
link.
just keep in mind that some of these directories you actually have to pay money. Like the physician has to pay money. I'm
Oh,
not
that's
sure
right.
about PCRM, but I know Plantrition is like
That's
that.
right.
So,
And I also
so
tell
if somebody
patients,
isn't on there, it doesn't necessarily mean they're not lifestyle medicine. You can actually search the ABLM, the American Board of Lifestyle Medicine database, and you can do a search for your area. That's probably the best way to find whoever is certified.
yes, yes,
But
thank
it doesn't
you.
necessarily say that they're taking new patients or whatever. But you can like at least have a list of names in your area
Hmm.
to
And then,
see. And then the mapper that I was talking about, the directory that like that's completely free. And I'm trying to make it
and
like
that's in
that
your
because I don't
website,
believe.
Dr. Gar?
Yeah, so it's going to be Mapper. We haven't launched it yet, but it's going to be mapper.caspiahealth.com. And it's going to be like a patient facing website for all their lifestyle medicine needs. And it's going to be completely free. So
Mm.
you could put your programs on there, other people, like it's not going to be, and then that is going to be something that they can search by zip code and it'll be a map and it'll show you where people who are taking new patients who have practices in lifestyle medicine. We're actually launching today, I think.
Is
Yeah, I
it?
think today.
Oh,
So that's exciting.
that's
Yeah,
exciting.
this is so
Well,
cool. Yeah,
keep us posted
I
in
will.
that
I'll give
one.
you the link to put in the notes or something like that. I guess they say usually. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I'll give you a link to have. But so that one, the reason why I wanted to make one is because I wanted one to be free. Do you know
Mm.
what I mean? Like I don't want
Access.
to like, yeah, so that's why. But I support all of the other ones too. But just so you know, like if somebody's not on there, it might not be, it's still like fine.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Dr. Garg, with your DPC, direct primary care practice, is it just in Connecticut, or you're also in other states too?
So I don't like if I do take care of patients in other states, it's not going to be medical. It's going to be like purely lifestyle medicine consultations,
Mm.
and I can't charge insurance. So
Mm.
I can't be a primary care in another state. I'm not board certified in any other state right now.
Mm.
If there is like a big group of people that want me to like become board certified in their state, I'm happy to do it. But I'm also very happy where I am. I love my patients so much.
And how do
And I
people
love
find you? For people who are in Connecticut, how can they find you? Do you have a
yeah.
website, a YouTube
Yep,
channel, whatever?
lifestyleandfamilymedicine.com.
Lifestyle and medicine dot
Lifestyleandfamilymedicine.com.
com. Okay, and I think I believe they can schedule a free appointment with you, right?
Right. Yep, 15
For
minute free meet and greet, but if you need longer, we can also do longer, but also I have you could book all of the appointments with me online.
online, which is great.
Yeah, I
It's
love it.
something, yeah. Well,
You got to reduce it's only me here. I can't be booking appointments.
this is
Yeah.
really exciting, and it's very empowering to think that I like to envision our future to be a growing, um, a growing class of doctors that are leading leading the m- minority patients, and I call them
Yeah.
minority because although as much as we label, and put a stigma on patients that they really don't care, they just need pills, and this is just what they want, and blah blah blah. I think that's not fair to say that.
Yeah.
There are people out there that are in the dark and been wanting to see the light, and don't want to end their lives yet. I think that they are the most vulnerable one that badly needs lifestyle medicine, and more. I in my experience, more accepting and easy to talk into a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
yeah,
agree.
Dr.
It's
Garg,
been
thank you so much. Yes, go
it's
ahead.
been just a wonderful journey to explore that patient group, a very refreshing, and just like fulfilling patient group that you're talking about. So it's so nice to be able to be here for them. But yeah, thank you for having me.
Well,
So I really appreciate it. It's so good to talk to you.
thank you so
Thank you.
much. Thank you for your time with us, and helping people is your passion, is your
Yeah,
newfound, purpose in life, and you've done that today, sharing your inspiring story and your
thank
insights and
you.
about your practice, so people know that we are building something here.
Yeah,
And that's for lifestyle change and modification to be finally recognized as the first drug of choice, not drug first, a form of treatment for chronic disease, especially, and we have the science to back it up. And so, if you have many more stories to tell, I know we're not going to run out, and I tell my other guests to, what's unique with our practice, we're not going to run out of stories of transformation that can
yes. We're never gonna run out. Yeah.
like, feel free to revisit us here. You know how to contact me. But thank you so much for your time. I hope
Thank
to
you.
talk to you again soon. And good luck. Good luck on your practice.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're
Take
welcome.
care.
Bye.
Bye. Take care. See ya.
I hope that Dr. Garg and I had administered a mega dose of motivation and health education. I hope that justifies your time and spending to watch this video. But if you like this video, you might also want to watch my other videos, that there are tons of information there, varying from nutrition, what food to eat, disease education, diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, obesity, some just practical advice on where do I start, how do I tweak my food, those kind of things. Mindset is also a thing that I covered in my videos. All are available in my website and YouTube channel and my Facebook group, the Lifestyle Changer MD. That's me. And when you subscribe to my website, know that you will get prompt or updated events and contents that all I want to do is push you to take action, because the the most wrong decision you can make is not to take action and just absorb those information we are giving and handing to you and not taking action. Nothing will change. So I hope that you will consider that. And if you like our content, please don't forget to share as well. But guys, I hope you make it a Sunday routine to join me live here on my Facebook group, The Lifestyle Changer MD, for your weekly dose of motivation. And I always hope for a mega dose to sustain you for the week, and tidbits of health information. I'm here every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time or 8 a.m. Pacific Time. And to my kababayans in the Philippines, that's Sunday, 11 p.m. I'll see you next week. Thank you.